Hey everybody.
Sean and Kelly here with Price and Price Group of eXp Realty. And what are we talking about today?
Condos and HOAs. I'm not an actress. I can't pretend to be in a good mood when I'm mad at you.
So this is our style. We are bickering a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to talk about condominiums and condominium associations, homeowners associations, and what are the differences.
You know what's going to happen is Sean's going to talk about it because he can't stay on point.
Because Kelly doesn't understand the words that we wrote down on the paper.
Who wrote them down? I did.
Yeah, but you don't understand what they mean.
I might not be able to read it, but I understand it once I know what it says.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the differences between condominium associations and
But first we're going to talk about the similarities. Yeah, and those similarities are very... So let's first go into the similarities, because those are going to be quicker to get through. They both have shared common areas. They both require fees to be paid.
Of like a shared common
area? Both have governance structures in place. And they both have covenants and restrictions, which are the rules. So shared common areas. I'm so happy you asked at the right time. Such as maybe swimming pools, tennis courts,
playgrounds,
and more. Such as, what about sometimes they have office spaces and car washes. Yes. You have all the good ideas. Gyms. I love it. Gyms. Saunas. What's your favorite common area?
Rooms. I like the gyms.
I said office spaces / meeting rooms.
Office space is like with computers. Meeting rooms like chairs.
And a table.
And a table.
And hopefully a window and a coffee maker.
This has been a video very much. A party room.
Some of them do have party rooms.
Pool tables.
Let's take a deeper dive into the differences though. And we're gonna let Sean. I'm gonna let you, like you did the other day. Yes. You let me go into something in great detail. So today, Sean, I think I'm gonna let you.
Thank you.
Man the wheel, the helm of the ship and steer us to safe harbor. Can we talk about these things? Can you just hit on these at your leisure?
Yes.
I want you to go into the ownership structure because that's different. I want you to go into the type of home. Okay. Or structure.
At the home, yes.
Okay. I want you to go into the different maintenance responsibilities that might be associated with these two. The governance structure, that's very, very different. Okay. And then how the fees and assessments might be different.
Okay. I will gladly go into all of this.
Please do.
And the reason this is important is because when you buy a property, you need to get these documents, review them, because when you purchase the property, you are committing to following all these rules.
And you're committed to supporting the body that's in charge, right?
That's true, absolutely. Okay, so first thing was type of ownership. Condominium association is related to a condominium. When you have a condominium ownership, you actually do not get you're not purchasing land. You're purchasing your unit, so you get a deeded unit inside that condominium.
It's like the box that you live inside of.
Exactly.
Drywall in.
Drywall in, exactly. There's some benefits to that, and there's some negatives to that, which we'll get into in a second. With the homeowners association, you actually are, if you're part of a homeowners association, there is ownership of land and the building that is on the land. So that's the difference.
Typically fee simple. You own some dirt, you own the
structure, the improvements and all that.
Which means you're also in charge of it, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. So that's the type of ownership. Now the type of structure is different in that a condo association, a condo can be in a high-rise building, which we commonly see. It can be a townhouse, can be an actual condo.
It's all about how the board, the builders decided to set up the structure and the ownership structure, right? So it's run by a board of directors. Yep. That's a condo.
Yep, and so the building structure does not dictate whether it's a condo or not. It's the type of ownership and the association. Yeah. So those are the differences. But a homeowners association is typically going to be a single family house, or it's typically going to be a townhouse, because you getting into the maintenance requirements. When you're in a homeowners association, you are responsible for the exterior of the building, for the roof, for the land that you actually own, because in an HOA you actually get land.
And being responsible for its maintenance and upkeep doesn't necessarily mean you always get to choose the colors or the type of material and all that. So the HOA is a homeowners association. These are typically elected people that all live here in your neighborhood, and they're going to help vote and make the rules.
Yep.
I mean, you'll be a part of that vote, but that's how that's going to
So you brought up a good example previously. So an HOA, even though you own the property, may have a rule that you can't keep a camper in your driveway, or an RV in your driveway, or a boat in your driveway, and you have to abide by that.
Yeah, you might have to submit, like in ours, we get submissions for, hey, they want to change their roof.
Front door color even.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Front door color. It has to go usually up to the board and.
So even though you're maintaining it, you still have to maintain it within those rules. Condo, you are not responsible for the exterior of the building at all. Because the condominium maintains that because it's multiple units. So the roof is the condominium association, the exterior is the condominium association, the windows, it depends on a specific association, but quite often those can be covered by the condo.
And so you might be thinking, wow, the condo sounds like the way to go, right? Not necessarily, because your fees are so much higher with the condo association, and they're in charge of so much more. Some of them, watch out, whenever you see that the AC and heat is included in your condo fee, oh, this is fantastic, right? Sometimes that means the building is in charge of how high or low you can set your thermostat to.
Yeah, a lot of these older buildings are set up on what's called I think it's called a boiler system, but basically it's based on water running through the building. So in the winter, they run hot water through the building. So when you turn on your air conditioner, it's going to blow heat. In the summer, they blend cold water through, so if you turn on your air conditioner, it's blowing cold. Well, they decide when they switch from hot to cold. So
no, it's bueno when you have a fever in the summertime.
Yes, so these are all things that you need to know. And these are all things you have much more control and ownership in a homeowners association, but you also have a lot more responsibility.
And you can have both.
Yeah.
You can be in a condo association, so you've purchased a place that is, the ownership structure is set up as a condo association. You have all those fees associated. And then the homeowners have said, you know what? I think it would be a great idea. We don't have enough governance and we don't have enough rules. Let's create a homeowners association as well. So it does happen that you have condo fees and HOA fees, condo rules and HOA rules, both docs that you need to look at and make sure everything is.
And that's common in areas, like for example, Reston here in Northern Virginia. The city or the town of Reston has an HOA that runs throughout the city, and then condos that are located in that city also have the HOA. So you're a member of both, and like you said, the governance and everything, but you do have the fees and you do have to abide by those rules. So you can't have both. So what's the governance structure like with regards to the associations? Like who sits on the boards for the condo association? Who sits on the boards for the homeowners association?
So as far as the condo goes, it's a board of elected officials, right? You, the homeowner, you're not in charge of that at all. With an HOA association, typically every member of the HOA, so that's going to be in your neighborhood, you all can vote on the different officers. So you're typically going to have president, vice president, treasurer, and a secretary. Many times they elect committees and chair people of the committees and all that, depending on how big it is or how much oversight they want to have in the community. And they'll typically switch. I know in ours, we switch every 3 years. We don't have to, there's no maximum, but you know, they like you to serve. It's a standard thing. They want everybody to try to serve on the board at least a little bit. And which is good. You get to know your neighbors that way. And
it's fun. I hate to watch you stress sometimes. She's
a
treasurer.
I get to be the treasurer. I love being a treasurer though. That's my jam.
So basically, just in summary, there are two associations that manage the property that you're buying. You do have to abide by the rules. Condos have benefits in that there's less maintenance on your part, but there are higher fees as a general rule. And then homeowners association, you have much lower fees, which allows for higher appreciation of your property, but you have a lot more responsibility for that property and for the maintenance. And again, it's disconnected from the actual structure of the building. So a townhouse can be a condo. And that confuses a lot of people. So that's what actually provoked this conversation. So.
And a condo can always have an association or an HOA. But an HOA in a fee simple, they can't just decide, hey, we also want to have a condo. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. So I hope that answered some questions and cleared it up a little bit. The big takeaway here is whatever you have, if you have a condo or HOA or both, those condo docs are so important whenever you're buying a home. You need to make sure that it works for your lifestyle and everything that you have, and for your wallet.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. All right, so let's get to the market report and let's get to the
mortgage minute with Tatiana.
Yeah. All right, we'll dive in. Okay, so let's dive into the numbers for what's happened over the last 7 days. It's really interesting to see what's happened on several fronts. So I just want to dive right in and show this to you. So you can see, as always, that our buyer activity is the orange line, inventory is the blue line. So the first thing that was pretty significant was that we had a huge increase in both inventory and buyer activity in the last 7 days. So we took this dip over the Labor Day weekend and our holiday, and then it shot back up. So what's really interesting about this is we jumped to an inventory level that is the exact same inventory level of what we had last year at this time. So we were kind of running lower. You can see these numbers were lower than we don't have the previous weeks on here, but the numbers were running a little bit lower than they were last year at this time. But we had this huge spike. And so what's interesting about this is again, inventory is a little bit higher. So this is buyer activity, this is inventory. So the supply is outweighing demand a little bit. So if you come over here into the seller's market versus buyer's market, it put us into a slight buyer's market, which is, if you look back at last year, is right where we were. So like I mentioned last week, we could be potentially going into a 6-week window here where buyers have a bit of an opportunity to face less competition and have an opportunity to actually get some properties, without having to go so high above asking price and fighting with all these multiple offers. So it could be a good window for buyers to really kind of jump into the market right now. The inventory, if it keeps on going up, that's going to be fantastic. You can see that last year at this time we had that same spike in inventory, and then it just kind of stabilized. So we can kind of anticipate that it'll probably stabilize a little bit here. But if we go into this area here, this could be a small window for buyers to have that opportunity of less competition. A lot of buyers missed this last year, and then they faced all of this for the last 12 months. So now could be a great time. So let's keep an eye on the market. If you have any questions, if you want us to sit down and talk to you about your situation, let us know, and just reach out to us. Post a comment below and let us know what we can do for you. Okay, we'll see you on next week's video. All right, and now we're gonna get over to Tatiana's Mortgage Minute.
Okay, everybody, and it's time for our Friday Mortgage Minute with Tatiana Ivleva-Lopez from Prosperity Home Mortgage.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. You're joining in on after the chaos of a.
Yeah, we had quite a market report talking about HOAs and condos.
Yeah. But so just wanted to get right into it with you. The thing that's on everybody's mind is, what are the interest rates and what are they doing? So what can you tell us about what's going on and what we maybe can expect? Just what do you know from the inside?
Yeah, so the interest rate, the average 30-year fixed rate climbed up a little bit from the last week. This week it's 7.18%, and last week it was 7.12%. So it goes up and down. I want to show you the chart they have. Let me share it with you.
Okay.
So it's right here, right? You can see it. Yeah, so last week it was 7.12, now it's 7.18, but get this. If you want to actually know the actual interest rates, what you can do is just to go online and Google mortgage rates today.
Okay.
Mortgage rates today. And you scroll down a little bit and you can see actually what the rates are doing.
Okay.
And we have 30-year fixed rate at 8%. Of course, here you can change the criteria. Remember that interest rates depend on the loan amount, the down payment amount, the credit score, and also now they depend on whether you're a first-time home buyer or not. And if you're a first-time home buyer, what your income is. So there's a lot of different things involved in interest rates. So when you shop for a rate, you don't just want to get rate from one lender to another without giving them that exact information, because it can vary drastically depending on those criteria.
Gotcha.
So in general, if your score between 700 and 719, the interest rate is 8%.
Okay, so I have a question for you. You had said that the interest rate went up to 7.18. I know Kelly and I understand why that's different than the 8.038, but can you explain how that difference translates into, like, why is it when the interest rate 7.18, why are you showing us 8.038?
Well, because 7.18%, it's average rate, right?
Okay.
So it's not an actual, it's average. It could be, in some cases, could be a little bit lower, in some cases higher. This rate is includes 1 point, and 1 point, 1 discount point is the cost of getting that interest rate reduced, right? So 1 point equals 1% of the loan amount. So you might get 8% rate without paying points. If you pay point or two, you can get it down to whatever would be appropriate for your particular scenario. Okay. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want people to understand that if somebody's giving you 7.5 rate, but you know that average is 7.18, it doesn't mean that they giving you higher rate than you actually should get. It's just the rate that is for particular for your particular scenario.
That's it. That's where I was looking for. Is the general theme is you can use that 7.18 as a general idea of what direction is it going in, but for your individual case, you need to talk to the lender to make sure what the offer is going to be.
That's exactly right. You can't just trust the postcard. I got a postcard that came in the mail that said I get it at 7%. You can't take that. It's not like a coupon that you can take it to every lender and that's going to be your rate. So I'm really, really happy you showed people that site so they can toggle around and see where they fall with the rates right there. And you brought up discount points, which I think we need to have a whole other mortgage minute on maybe next week, where we can dive a little bit deeper into discount points and what those mean, because those can also be confusing for people.
Absolutely.
Definitely, I'll be happy to do that, and I can actually bring the actual numbers to show how it changes the rate for a scenario, how it changes the monthly payment, how we analyze, does it make sense to pay points or not?
Yep.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love that. And before we sign off with you, can you tell us about Prosperity's lock and shop program, which I think is huge for buyers right now?
Yep.
It is. So just the background, the interest rate, they do change every day, right? To lock the rate, you need to be under contract, meaning that you found a property, you wrote an offer, seller agreed to it, so we're under contract. That's when most lenders can lock the rate in at that point. So lock, shop, and home program with Prosperity is unique because we can lock the rate while clients are looking for a property.
Okay.
If you don't like to gamble, if you don't want that possibility of rate to go up while you're looking for property, potentially disqualifying you for the price range that you were pre-approved before, right? So we can actually lock the rate while you are looking for a property. And how we do it, we send the file for a full approval to underwriting, free of charge, free of obligation, and we can lock the interest rate in.
I love that.
So what happens if you lock a rate today at 8.03 and then tomorrow it goes down to 6.2?
Oh yeah, can they?
You get to
relock?
Yep.
Well, so that gets a little bit complicated, right? Because when you lock the rate, you lock it from any fluctuations, up or down.
Okay.
So we could look into possibility of lowering the lock, lowering the rate. We can't just unlock and relock.
Got it.
There could be a possibility of lowering it, but that's when you make that decision. Do you want to risk it, that rate is gonna go all the way to 8, and you're KV7, or you want to keep on floating and do that, which is also the option.
So kind of a risk mitigation type technique.
Yeah.
It's kind of a risk mitigation technique.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we can kind of protect yourself from the downside of the rates going up too high.
And wouldn't it vary based on different people's temperament and how they gauge risk? So I know, for example, I would be in this market, I would definitely want to lock and shop.
Yep.
What would you do?
Right now, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
No.
See?
No. Just because last week it was 7.12, this week 7.18. You know,
like if I can deal with it now, lock me in and let me go shop with that off my chest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'd probably be right, because
I'm always right.
And that's another thing, as a mortgage consultant, I monitor the rates all the time, and I'm looking for, what might happen in a day or two, right? So, and I would give some suggestions, rates are doing pretty good right now, let's not lock, let's wait, or vice versa. And then you just make your educated decision,
And I think that's key, because you've been doing this over 20 years here in the same market, right? I mean, I would trust Tatiana. What should we do, Tatiana?
Right. If it was you, what we do, that's what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much. Next week we'll go into discount points. I love that.
Sounds good. All right. Have a great week. Did you have anything else? Are you good?
I'm good. Have a nice weekend.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.